Hey, this is Jason over at Nightworks Automotive. I'm going to show you how we take this stock gauge in a 2004 to 2006.5 Scion XB from nice and stock, with the white lights and then just the yellow here with the black, and we're going to change it around. We're going to transform the gauge into this. Of course, this is a Nightworks Customs gauge face here. That's what the customer wanted, but what we're dealing with right now today is the odometer. It's hard to see in the video. It's kind of a dark reddish blood background with red lettering. I know it kind of looks a little white here, kind of hard to see that, but the lettering is white and the background is supposed to be a blackish, but it's a blackish red. It's changed with the PLCC2s. We can change blue, white, and when we do the white, if you don't like the white, we can put a gel in there, and then pretty much you have the capability of doing any color that you can find in a lighting gel. And we're going to show you how to do it right now. Okay, now we're going to take this cluster apart. The hardest part usually is this little plastic screw. I use like a P1 to get in there. And slowly try not to put any pressure on that, and once you get it loose you can pull it down, and it's just a pain. So once you get it all the way where it wants to come out and pull it down, see, there's that one, that's the hardest one. And then you just pull this. There's 3 or 4 tabs right here on the back, 3 tabs, 4 tabs. We take that off, and then it's just 3 screws right here to take it off. Real simple. After we get these screws off, then there's a harness in the back. Sometimes they're clipped in the middle, sometimes there's not. So you be kind of gentle. There's pins on each side that locate it. Let's pull it back. See, it has this one, it just pushes in, so you just be real nice, pull that out, and then this harness right here. Try to make sure the car's off when you're doing this. I can have the car, I've done this a lot. So then once we have this out, we're going to take it to the shop and I'm going to show you how to take it apart. Alright, now that we have it out, I had to take this part off already. I took the gauges out, the needles out. Now we got to take this screw out right here. There's 4 screws on the back, but this one can be pulled up. Just do it nicely. Just pins. Like that. Once you get it up here, you gotta slide it. And that's up, because we're trying to get to this odometer. So we gotta go to the back, and we gotta take these 4 out right here and mark them all in blue. Once we get these 4 out, I'll show you how we disconnect the harness from the speedometer to the center panel part of the cluster. Try not to lose the 4 screws. Just put them off to the side somewhere. Then there's these little clips. Just bend them up just enough so you can take these off. Everywhere. I think there's 6 of them. And once you get this back part off, set that off to the side. This part with a speedometer, gas, and tack R. Right here you'll see this ribbon wire. You pull up on both sides gently, just a little bit. You'll feel it like pop. It goes up maybe like 2 millimeters. Once it's up, that unlocks the ribbon wire. And you can just pull that back and leave that. Then the only thing holding this cluster on besides all the pins for the odometer are these clips right here. And you gently pull up on the clips, if they will. Oh, and don't forget to pull that out. That's a grounding piece. And just slowly and nicely pull up on these clips. You don't want to twist the board, anything like that. The only thing that's holding it is this odometer So you just be nice to it. It's slowly coming up. Just take your time. It'll come apart. And we won't have to worry about anything. So that's part of where we're getting to, because we're going to change these over to PLCC2s. And we're also going to pop this odometer piece out real nice and gently. Don't worry, it's going to like react to your fingers and stuff like that. You'll see randomly it'll just change. Try not to use anything hard on this. You don't want to chip it. Just want to get it out nicely. See how it's all nice? All the pins are still straight. If you do bend a pin, that's alright. Just bend it back straight. Alright, so now we need to take the polarizing film. Here's the new polarizing film that I have. We're going to take the old one that's on here. It's hard to see, so we just use a straight razor and try to use a brand new one. You don't want to mess with anything here. I always put on the edge of a table. Seems to be easier for me to work with. And you just nicely go to the edge and it'll start coming up. You'll see it here. Just be careful of your fingers. You just got to work it back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it'll break. The film will, not the base piece. The film breaks, nothing to worry about. It is a little time consuming. It does take a little while. If it looks like the numbers are showing up there, you're fine. It's not an issue. It doesn't mean, just don't push really hard on it. See, like here's just like a piece to show you. It's just whatever. Like if I go grab this and then just do the piece, it'll break. You just gotta be very nice to this bottom screen. This one's actually coming up okay, which is shocking. There's still the glue there. We're gonna get that off right now too. Once we get this off. This is the first time it's ever come off in one piece. Now I'm just take some glue, or usually I use like brake clean. It's whatever you have available. Rubbing alcohol will work. You just got to put it on there, and you just got to get all this glue off. It's just a little tedious, but it comes off. Sometimes you have to rub the glue, and then you go back with the razor blade, and you do a little bit more of the razor blade, and you'll notice that the glue is actually like coming off with it, and it's almost clear. See, there's a clear spot right in the middle there. So we just go through this. We're trying to get it clean. It doesn't usually seem to work when you're trying to take the glue off if you don't use like a brake clean or something like that first. But you want it perfectly clean, so we can put the new polarizing film on here. And it will not work without a polarizing film, so if you're just trying to take this off, you're not going to see anything. If you went and installed this back in the car like this, it's not going to do anything at all. So I just need a little bit more on here. Try to keep this away from open flames if you're messing with it. I don't know if you can see in the camera. I still have like a little bit of stuff here. I'm going to get all this clean and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, so now that we have the odometer all cleaned up, we're going to put the polarizing film that I've already cut in its place. It's going to go in here, which it'll give it that black look. Before, when you saw it, it was like clear like this if you look at this side. That's how it looked before. Polarizing film you can get like at a camera store, eBay, wherever. I have tons of it here. You can order it at Nightworks Customs.com. We have all sorts of this stuff for DIY projects, or we'll do it for you. But we're going to put the film on. Make sure when you're cutting that polarizing film, you check it and make sure you're cutting it the right way so it looks blackish if you're trying to do that. And make sure that the sticky part is on the back side. So I'm going to pull the sticky part off now. It's like window tint. Once I get that sticky part off, make sure you're like in a dust-free environment. We're going to nicely put this on somehow. You might see a few little bubbles. They'll come right out. You just let them sit. And they do their thing. You don't have to push too hard. You don't have to get crazy with it. It may look like you messed up. Like you might see the little bubbles in here that I have. They do go away. So you just let that sit. We'll let that do its thing, and we'll go on to the next step, which is changing the PLCCs on this board right here. These are like 8506s or something, but the PLCCs, they'll fit right on here. Alright, I flipped the board. This is the way the board usually is. It sits nicer upside down. You will notice there's a little arrow there, and I'll show you what the arrow is in a minute. First, we need to desolder these off the board. So you take a $5 soldering iron that you get at Walmart or wherever you want to go. If you have a fancier one, awesome. Just watch the heat. That's all you got to do. You just got to get it so that way it melts the solder off the thing. And just give it a little push, and then boom, that's off. And then run through the middle so that way there's no solder joining those two together. Now that we've got that off, we got to put a little bit of solder back on the board. So you just touch it down there and then melt a little bit of solder on there. You got to do that for all the joints. So that way it has a little buildup. Alright, now that that's done, we got to put the PLCCs on the board. So we'll get out 4 of these things and we'll slap them on there. You will notice they are bigger. There's the factory one, and then there's the PLCC2 that we're putting on. They're about you know, anywhere from 20 cents to $1, depending on how many you buy. You buy them in bulk, of course you get a better deal, but what are you going to do with 8,000 PLCC2s? You will notice this little tiny cut taken out of it. That goes in line with this arrow, so make sure it's facing up. So when you put it on the board, this is the hard part. And you'll see that it's facing up. You gotta get both sides. And you will see that it's facing that same direction. And then I'll do the rest of these and I'll show you what we're doing next. Alright, now that we have all 4 soldered, we have to check them before we put it all back together. Just makes it super easy. So let's go back in the car, you know, click it on here, and then just turn the key on. And you notice all 4 light up. They light up white now. It's running through its checks, so everything's good. So now we're going to go back in and we're going to put the board part back together, and I'm going to show you what it looked like. Alright, now you'll see this is the polarizing film reversed with white PLCC2s behind it. And you see you get the nice white, crisp white letters, and then it's like a bluish background kind of, and it fades into, it's really hard to explain that color, almost a brownish, dark purple, which is pretty cool by itself. We're going to go in and we're going to do some more mods to it now. Alright, now I talked about changing the color. We chose white because I wanted to do a two-tone on this one. I'm doing a purple and brown. You'll see it right here. Kind of an homage to the first XP truck I did and the second XP truck. So we'll show you what that looks like later, but there's whatever, pretty much any color you want. You want dark green, they have dark green. You want a yellow, you didn't like amber but you wanted a yellow, or you wanted like a tanner color. You can go through, these are pretty cheap. I bought this at Film Tools in Burbank. I think it was like $5, and I have used this thing for years. We take little pieces out at a time, like here's the purple that we use there. You can use the whole thing and use the white behind it to change the color that you want. You can like even put them up in there and have them and be like, oh, I like that yellow, or I want that neon green, or whatever. There's every color that you can think of in here. So we're going to put this together. We're finally going to take the film off of this thing. Most of the bubbles are already out just by it sitting here. So we'll take the little film off so it makes it look a lot nicer. And then we'll light it up right now and we'll show you what it looks like. Alright, and here's the finished product for what we've been messing with. On this one we did a two-tone. This one's going to actually go into my purple truck. So I have the purple on top. I don't know if you can see that, the lines there. You can even change the odometer if you wanted to actually just get a small little piece there. And so you can have a tritone, or you can just do all purple, whatever you want. The brown actually looks really nice and gives this a nice yellowish, like a 42K look right there. But that's it. Thanks for watching everything, and I'll see you next time.